everyone, it's Linda from Full Moon Studio. Welcome to the second video in my series on busting your paper stash. Today I'm going to show you how to make backgrounds for your cards using the scrappy strip method. This is a card that I posted a photograph of a couple of days back, and I've used the scrappy strip method for its background. It looks like that. And it's really easy to do. To start with, you just need a piece of cardstock. It can be any colour, any size you like, but for this I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock and it's A6. I've also got some scraps of Designer Series paper, and they are wider than my cardstock. That's the only thing you need to know. It needs to be that little bit wider than the piece of cardstock you're working on. So I'm just going to get my paper trimmer, and we're not going to measure, we're going to do it all by eye. Let's get that into frame for you. Okay, so I'm going to take my first piece and I'm going to just tilt it round on the diagonal like that, and I'm going to cut a very long, thin, narrow triangle. Then I'm just going to take the next piece and do the same again. And tilt it that way, then tilt it that way. And that last piece I'll just cut like that. So it really doesn't matter what width your strips are, and it's sometimes very useful to have a little bit for tucking in at the end. So I'll just do the rest of the paper. So here we go. I'm really not thinking about it. And this last one, like that. And I have one more piece of paper to do. I think I'm just going to cut that one in half, more or less. Let's see. Yes, I'm happy with those. So I'll gather them up, take the paper trimmer out of the way, and I've just got a wee offcut of lino to glue on, because normally I'd do that on something like a piece of glass or plastic, but the shine will be coming right back at you. So this is matte and hopefully it will work. I've got my glue, and the first thing I'm going to do is take my first piece of paper, and I'm actually I want to line it up with the edge of my card this way, and it just gives me a starting point. Now, some people glue on the card. I prefer to glue on the paper, and again, personal preference. So I'm just going to line that up. That's it. Now for the second piece, let's grab a bit. You can see that one end is wider and one end of each piece is narrower. So I'm going to alternate them. So I'll have the wide end, then this is the narrow end of the next piece. There. And I'm going to lie it down with about a 2mm gap between the pieces of paper, 1/8 of an inch in old money. Get my next piece. So that was a narrow end. I'll start with the wider end of this piece. I'm trying not to overthink it. I am trying just to grab as they come along. So this is my wider end, this is my narrow end, that was the wider end of the last piece of paper. There we are. Let's see about this one. that way. Yep. So again, alternating the wide end of the strip with the narrow end of the one before. There we are. That one. How's that looking? We're getting there. I think I want one of these. Yeah. So, narrow end opposite the last wide end. There we are. And I think that's going to have to be the end because I don't have another piece with the black on. If possible, I personally like to end with the same piece that I started with, but it's not hugely important. That's just me being fussy. So that's that. And when I lift it off of here, you're going to see that it looks like nothing on earth on the back, but we'll just deal with that simply enough with a pair of snips. And I'm just going to use the edge of my card as a guide. Don't need to worry too much because we are going to cut this card. I will cut it smaller before I actually use it. It's probably a good idea just to let the glue dry before you do this, but for the purposes of this video and speed and efficiency, she said. I'm glad you can't see my face. I think my tongue's sticking out. So there we have a background, and that's ready to decorate and make a finished card with. So that's one way of doing it. And these patterns are quite random. So if you've got a piece of paper that's got, if you like, a picture on it, like this one with the crocodiles, you want to keep it in order possibly. So I'm going to show you how to do that next. So I'm covered in glue and I didn't think to bring myself a wipe through with me. Never mind. So for this next one, I'm going to use another piece of A6 card, and I've cut this beautiful butterfly paper, and it is longer, it's slightly narrower, but that won't matter because of the gaps that we're going to leave as we go across. So this time when I come to cut it up, I need to be a little bit careful and I need to keep it in order. So I'm going to start here. That's my first piece and I need to lie it down there. And I cut the next piece. And place it there. Take that out of the way. Then my next one. Next one. And here's the final one. that there and that one there. So I'll bring in my bit of vinyl again and my cardstock, and once again I'm going to take the first one and lay it flush with the edge of my card. Like that. Now the second one, I need to be very, very sure, stand up, that when I glue it on, the pattern matches. So it's flush at the bottom here. So if I keep every piece flush along the bottom, then the pattern should line up. Hey up. Glue always stops working in the middle of a video, doesn't it? There it is. Come on. Yep. I'm just going to bring in my cunning little jam jar and hold it there, and that'll help. So, it's upside down. Eee. Don't do as I do, ladies, do as I say. So I'm going to line this bottom one up here. Woo. I really am going to line it up. Come on. There. There. So hopefully the next one won't be so pesky. So I'll line it up along the bottom here again. That's it. And the next one will be going here. It's a bit pointy. I think I would try and avoid doing that in the future. It's just a little bit too narrow, isn't it? Ooh. I'll get away with it because I'm going to cut that piece of base card down a wee bit, so yeah, it'll be fine. It will be all right on the night. And I've jumbled them up, so let's be sure that this one is the right one. No, it's not. Ah. That one. That's right, that lines up nicely. This should be the next one. Yeah. Line up along the bottom. That's that. And then this last one, I think I'm actually going to glue along the edge of the card. That's better. That will help that last piece to stay on properly. Just got to remember to line it up. Yeah, that's it. So I'll not trim it up for now, But as you can see, we've cut it apart and put it together sort of again, and you can see the pattern. I really like that effect. I think that's great. And I have a card made with this, which I will show you in the next video. So this has become a little bit of an obsession, actually. Once you start, it's quite hard to stop. So here's one that I made with the crocodiles, and I know already, once I've got some sort of greeting in here, I am most definitely I'm going to have to put googly eyes on. That will be a really nice kids card. I've done two with this paper, and quite interesting depending on which way round you put them. And this has got much narrower strips than this one, so it's effectively the same thing but a very different look, so I'm pleased with that. Here's another odd one from some very old paper, but the colours are great. And finally, I've made a Christmas one. So I think it's the sort of thing that, you know, when you go in your craft room and you know you want to craft, but you really can't think of anything to do. I think this is a great idea. Just pull out some bits of cards, some bits of DSP, and make yourself some backgrounds. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I will show you in the next video what I've done with the backgrounds, how to make up some of the cards. So thank you so much for watching. See you next time.